One of my favorite episodes that I've done on this channel is one about new home construction. I did that episode over a year ago, and I thought it was time for an update and to answer some frequently asked questions. Hey everybody, Melanie Atkinson here, Realtor with Smith & Associates in beautiful Tampa Bay, Florida, and new construction has been on fire this year. Neighborhoods in Odessa, Wesley Chapel, and Riverview can hardly keep up with the demand. With the influx of people wanting to be in the Tampa Bay area, along with low interest rates and affordable prices, it's easy to see why builders have had record-breaking sales months. So for any of you out there that may be looking into new construction in the next couple months, this episode should help you. Let's get started with everybody's favorite topic, incentives. What are incentives and why do builders give them? Incentives can be lots of things. It can be money towards closing costs or money for the design center, a reduction in lot premiums, or even a free pool. It's a basic pool, but it is a pool. Incentives are there basically to incentivize people to build with that particular builder. And they are really important, especially when you use that money towards closing costs, because the closing costs on new construction can be very high. Or they allow you to get that one design feature that may not have been in your budget originally. Now, two things to remember when it comes to incentives. So typically you do have to use a builder's lender in order to maximize your incentives, and those incentives will vary based on how busy the builder is. When a builder is selling a ton of homes, do you think those incentives go up? No, they go down because the builder realizes that there's high demand for their product and they don't want to give away any extra money that they don't need to. I know it can be tempting to wait for the incentives to go up, but the timing might not work for your time frame. You also might run into another problem, and that's pricing. And that brings me to my next question. Do base home prices go up regularly? Yes, absolutely. If you are looking at a model that you might have priced last year, I can guarantee you the base price of that house is higher this year. Builders will regularly increase the base price of their house, again, based on demand of their product. Now that can be super frustrating if you're home shopping for a while and you see those prices tick up. Now, can those prices go down again? Yes, absolutely. It all depends on the market and the demand. I had a question from Will Alton a few weeks ago that asked about whether builders would ever not want to work with your real estate agent, and I thought that was an important one to answer here. Some builders have very strict rules about your real estate agent being with you the very first time you go to the model. I find that to be a very restrictive policy because a lot of buyers just aren't ready to engage the services of a real estate agent when they're at the very beginning of their search. Now, most builders in the Tampa Bay area are very understanding of this and will let you use your realtor as long as you tell them from the very beginning that you want to use a realtor. If you happen to have the name and phone number and contact information of your real estate agent, that's even better. So if you know from the very beginning that you're going to want representation, please just let the builder know right away when you get there, and then they can advise you as to whether that will be okay down the road. Having an agent doesn't really have a downside for you. In fact, if you have a good agent, it probably has a huge upside. If you watch the original new construction video, I do talk a little bit more about this. Typically in Florida, an agent's commission is paid for by the builder, so it's not costing you anything to have that representation. So to fully answer Will's question, the answer is yes, there are some times where builders will not want to work with your agent, especially if you've gone through the process with the builder rep for a while. So say you've looked at the model homes and the lot premiums and kind of picked one out and you've gone through all those steps, then a lot of times they don't want an agent to come in after the fact. Shaylin Owens had a question a while ago about buying an inventory home and whether you can do cosmetic changes to that home and whether it will cause construction delays. That's another great question. There are different answers to this question depending on what builder that you're working with. The big builders in the Tampa Bay area generally do not allow cosmetic changes to houses that they've already designed and are in their inventory. Why? Because they've already ordered all of the materials and it doesn't benefit them in any way to make those changes. Historically, that wasn't always the case, but I've noticed in the last couple years that the big builders have really cracked down on this. Getting changes made to an inventory home is like trying to move mountains. It just doesn't happen. Now, that's not true of every builder. It's definitely worth asking the question. Just keep in mind that they're not going to want to make changes that will cause construction delays because construction delays are the last thing that builders want. Now, speaking of construction delays, let's talk about the timing of new builds. As I said in the last video, video, no builder in the whole world wants a house to take any longer than it absolutely needs to take to build. Most builders don't get paid until a house is done, so they want it done ASAP. However, they don't always have control of their supply chain and the timing that it takes in county permitting and inspections. With the shutdowns that have happened all around the world so far in 2020, some builders are warning of some issues with their supply chain. Now, I haven't run across any major ones yet for my clients, but I have been warned by a couple builders that some may be on the way. And further, with the amount of demand that we've had, we've seen some delays in county permitting as well. So as always, pack your patience along with your furniture and your stuff and realize that builders will do their best to give you an estimation of when the house will be done, but they can't guarantee a final close date until they get very, very far along in the construction process. Now, I had a few questions about credit scores and new home construction. And I'd love to be able to answer those questions, but questions about the loan portion of any home sale, whether it's new construction or resale, really need to be directed to lenders themselves. They will be able to review your credit scores, your debts, your assets, and let you know what you can comfortably afford. And this is a hugely important part of the process. Even if you're planning on using the builder's lender to maximize your incentives, you may want to talk to a different lender prior to home buying just to make sure that everything looks okay and that you're not worried about getting pre-approved with the builder's lender. Another question I get a lot is about down payments. When you go under contract for a new build or an inventory home, the builder is going to want you to have some skin in the game. Every builder is different. Some will be okay with just a few $1,000s and others will want up to 10% down. Sometimes deposits can be negotiable, or you can make the deposit in payments over a few months. A lot of times I'll negotiate with a builder to do a small deposit at the beginning and then a larger one later on. That is especially helpful for my clients who are coming from out of state that maybe have a house to sell in their current state. And also with deposits, don't be surprised if the builder requires deposits after you go to the design center. If you go over a certain amount at the design center, a lot of times the builder will want you to pay a deposit on that overage. Also, if you're doing a pool during your build process, keep in mind that a lot of builders will want a hefty deposit on that. Usually it's about 50% of the pool price. Deposits can seem daunting, especially as I just listed them there. There's a lot more to discuss when it comes to deposits that we can talk about with the builder or if I talk to you in person. I hope this answers a few more new construction questions that you have. If you haven't watched the original video, go ahead and click on that one. If you have questions about new construction home buying, please feel free to put those in the comments and I'll do another video if I get enough questions. If you're looking to buy or sell in the Tampa Bay area, give me a call or send me a text. I'm happy to help you. As always, stay safe. Thank you so much for watching. With love, Melanie and Tucker.